Have you ever wondered why, despite all your efforts, nothing seems to go right? Perhaps you've tried to meet every expectation, follow the right path, and push yourself to the limit, yet something inside you still feels incomplete. Carl Jung invites us to look beyond the visible. I have understood that the problem is not in the external world, but in the silent dialogue we maintain with our unconscious. The life you experience is a reflection of what happens within you. When you ignore your emotions or suppress your shadows, that inner disorder manifests in your reality. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In other words, everything you have not faced within yourself will eventually appear in your life as obstacles, unhealthy relationships, or repeated failures. If you find yourself stuck in an unpleasant situation that keeps repeating, the answer lies within you. It is not bad luck. It is your unconscious mind screaming for attention. Every problem is an invitation to look deeper and discover the parts of yourself that you have not yet accepted or understood. These ignored parts of yourself are what Jung called the shadow. The shadow contains everything we don't want to see: our fears, repressed desires, traumas, and the aspects of our personality that we have not recognized. Often, we reject these elements because they do not fit the image we want to project to the world. But ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. On the contrary, the more you suppress them, the more control they have over you. They seep into your relationships, your decisions, and those moments when everything seems to go wrong for no apparent reason. Imagine living in a house with rooms you have never dared to enter. These rooms are your shadow. The longer you keep those doors shut, the more disorder accumulates inside. The energy trapped in these repressed parts of yourself begins to manifest in your life as chaos, failed projects, toxic relationships, and a constant sense of disconnection from your purpose. Jung invites us to open those doors, to explore our inner world without fear, because only by facing our shadow can we find true peace and transformation. Many people feel like nothing goes right in their lives because they have disconnected from their true essence. In their effort to fit into society and meet external expectations, they end up betraying themselves. When you ignore your true desires or settle for a life that doesn't fulfill you, your unconscious mind finds ways to make you aware of it. Perhaps you feel a constant dissatisfaction, even when everything seems fine on the surface. Or maybe you experience inexplicable failures over and over again, as if the universe were conspiring against you. The reality is that it's not the universe punishing you. It's your own inner self, crying out to be heard. Until you confront what you truly want and what you fear, you will continue encountering the same obstacles. Jung believed that our unconscious communicates through symbols, intuition, and emotions. Those gut feelings you sometimes ignore are not coincidences. They are signals from your inner self, guiding you toward the right path. If something doesn't feel right in a relationship, a job, or a decision, pay attention. It's not weakness or fear. It's your intuition showing you the truth. But when you choose to ignore these signs and follow the safe path, you distance yourself from your true self and perpetuate the cycle of frustration and failure. The world around you may tell you to keep working harder, that success is just around the corner if you put in enough effort. But Jung would argue that the problem is not a lack of effort. It's a disconnection from your authenticity. If you are chasing goals that don't resonate with you, if you are pursuing what others consider valuable instead of what truly makes you happy, you will never feel satisfied. True success is not about external achievements. It's about aligning with who you really are. And that journey begins by making the unconscious conscious, by embracing your shadow instead of running from it. According to Carl Jung, true fulfillment is not found outside of you, but in the integration of your being, in the harmony between your conscious and unconscious mind. One of the most common mistakes we make is projecting our shadows onto others. Jung explained that the qualities we admire or detest in others are merely reflections of aspects of ourselves that we have yet to recognize. If someone's attitude irritates you, or if a particular person seems to bring out the worst in you, ask yourself, what part of me is being reflected in this situation? Instead of blaming others for your problems, Jung invites you to use these experiences as mirrors to better understand yourself and uncover the aspects of your psyche that need healing. This projection occurs because it is far easier to see our shadows in others than to confront them directly. For example, if you constantly feel frustrated by someone you perceive as selfish, it could be a sign that you are repressing your own need to set boundaries and take care of yourself. If you judge others as failures or incompetent, perhaps there is a part of you that fears not measuring up. By observing these projections with honesty, you can begin to release trapped energy and break the patterns that keep you stuck in cycles of dissatisfaction. Another fundamental concept in Jungian psychology is synchronicity, the idea that the events in your life are not mere coincidences, but manifestations of your inner state. When nothing seems to be going right, when everything around you feels chaotic, ask yourself, what is happening within me? External chaos is often a signal that something in your inner world needs attention. Perhaps it is time to let go of a relationship that no longer serves you, to leave a job that drains your soul, or to finally confront a fear you have been avoiding. When you align your life with your truth, synchronicity begins to emerge, and everything starts to fall into place naturally. The problem is that we often resist change. We cling to what is familiar, even if it makes us unhappy, because we fear the unknown. But Jung reminds us that the emptiness we fear is not something to dread. It is a sacred space where the new can take root. For something new to enter your life, you must first release the old. If you hold on tightly to relationships, beliefs, or situations that no longer resonate with you, you are blocking your own evolution. The act of letting go is not a loss. It is a liberation, an opening to what you truly deserve. We often feel stuck because we fail to recognize the signs our unconscious is sending us. The chaos you perceive in your life is not random. It is a message. Carl Jung taught that suffering and obstacles are ways in which the unconscious invites us to grow. When you face constant failures, it is likely that you are struggling against yourself, ignoring the parts of you that need attention and healing. Real transformation begins when you stop blaming the external world and start looking inward with courage and honesty. Your unconscious holds unresolved experiences, repressed emotions, and limiting beliefs that act as invisible barriers. These barriers prevent you from moving forward, no matter how hard you try. For example, if you repeatedly fail in relationships or projects, ask yourself, what pattern am I repeating? Jung would say that until you bring that pattern into consciousness, it will continue to control your life from the shadows. Self-awareness is not about eliminating pain, but understanding it, embracing it, and transforming it into a force for personal evolution. Resistance to change is natural because facing your shadows requires questioning the identity you have constructed, an identity often built on external expectations and values that may no longer serve you. Perhaps you have spent years trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you, and now your inner self is rebelling. Jung reminds us that the goal of life is not perfection, but authenticity. True fulfillment comes when you allow yourself to be who you really are, with all your light and shadow. The integration of these aspects is what Jung called individuation, the path to a more meaningful life, free from self-deception. If you feel that your life lacks purpose or direction, it may be a sign that you have disconnected from your essence. Jung believed that every human being has a unique purpose, a mission that can only be discovered by listening to the voice of the unconscious. This voice does not shout, it whispers. It speaks through your dreams, your intuitions, and that silent longing for something more. When you ignore these signals and follow a path that does not resonate with you, frustration and failure become inevitable. But when you dare to follow your truth, the universe aligns and opportunities begin to flow. The concept of the shadow does not only refer to the negative aspects of ourselves, but also to the positive qualities we have repressed. Often, our greatest potential lies hidden beneath layers of fear, conditioning, and self-doubt. When you integrate these parts of yourself, when you stop running from who you are, you become whole. And in that wholeness, you find freedom. Carl Jung explained that many people hide their true potential out of fear of judgment, rejection, or failure. Perhaps you have dreams, talents, or desires that you have kept buried because you worry that you are not enough, that you do not measure up. But this self-deception creates a void within you, one that no amount of superficial success can ever truly fill. The real question you should be asking yourself is not, why is everything going wrong for me? But rather, what parts of myself am I repressing, and why? It is entirely possible that you are living a life that does not truly belong to you. Jung taught that the masks we wear to fit into society often disconnect us from our true selves. The more you try to be someone you are not, the more you betray your essence. This disconnection manifests as emptiness, chaos, and repeated failures. The universe is not against you. Rather, your inner self is trying to show you the correct path. Suffering is not a punishment. It is a compass, pointing toward what needs to be transformed within you. The first step to changing your life is to stop running from yourself. The fear of confronting your shadows is what keeps you trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. You may find yourself clinging to relationships, jobs, or routines that no longer bring you happiness simply because you fear that you do not deserve better, or that you may not be able to attain it. But Jung reminds us that change can only occur when you are willing to let go of what no longer serves you. Life constantly sends you signals, and if you continue to ignore them, the chaos will only intensify until you have no choice but to face it. Chaos is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It reveals the wounds that still need healing in order for you to move forward toward a more authentic life. Integrating your shadows takes time and dedication, but the transformation is profound. When you face your fears and accept your imperfections, you free yourself from the burden you have been carrying. Suddenly, life becomes clearer. Your purpose becomes evident. Inner peace takes root. Toxic relationships lose their hold over you. The right opportunities begin to appear naturally. Most importantly, you reclaim your vital energy. Jung taught that the power to change your life does not lie in external circumstances, but in your ability to truly know, accept, and act from your deepest truth. Have you ever stopped to consider how your thoughts and beliefs shape your reality? Jung described projection as the phenomenon in which we attribute to others what we refuse to acknowledge within ourselves. If everything in your life seems to be going wrong, take a step back and observe. What are you projecting onto the world? Perhaps you see obstacles where there are actually opportunities. Maybe you perceive enemies when, in reality, you are facing mirrors reflecting your own inner struggles. What you see as failure may simply be a lesson waiting to be learned. The world around you is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. If you want to change your life, you must start by changing your perception and the limiting beliefs that hold you back. This process is not easy. Jung said that the awakening of consciousness is often accompanied by pain because it requires shedding old versions of yourself that no longer serve you. But this pain is not a punishment. It is a purification. It is the moment when you free yourself from outdated conditioning, fears, and attachments, making way for the person you are meant to become. Instead of resisting change, embrace it as an opportunity to grow and align with your true purpose. Every crisis you face is not an end. It is the beginning of something new. When you start living authentically, something extraordinary happens. Synchronicity. Jung defined synchronicity as the meaningful coincidence between your inner state and external events. It is when life seems to conspire in your favor, and everything falls into place effortlessly. But this synchronicity can only manifest when you are truly aligned with yourself. If nothing in your life seems to be working, perhaps you are on the wrong path, swimming against the current instead of listening to the messages your unconscious is sending you. The key is to learn to trust your intuition and release the illusion of control. Resistance to change is one of the greatest barriers, but it is also an opportunity. Jung famously said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." If you want your life to change, stop searching outside of yourself. The real work begins within. Face your shadows. Question your beliefs. Reconnect with your dreams. When you do this inner work, your external reality starts to shift. What once seemed impossible becomes achievable, and the pieces of the puzzle finally fall into place. Chaos and failure are necessary for your evolution. Jung reminds us that life is not a straight path. It is a journey filled with highs and lows, crises and moments of clarity. Every obstacle you encounter is an invitation to grow, to understand yourself more deeply, and to align with your true purpose. If everything in your life seems to be going wrong, ask yourself, what part of me needs attention? What am I avoiding? The answers you seek are not outside of you. They lie within your ability to listen to your inner guidance and take courageous action. The world needs more people who live in authenticity. When you choose to be yourself, without masks, without pretense, you inspire others to do the same. Personal transformation not only liberates you, but also creates a ripple effect, influencing those around you and contributing to a more conscious, balanced world. Jung teaches us that when we heal our wounds and face our shadows, we do not just change our own lives, we help to elevate collective consciousness. True magic happens when you dare to be who you really are. Take a moment to reflect. What part of yourself have you been ignoring? What relationships, beliefs, or fears are you ready to release? Jung said that transformation begins with an act of courage, the courage to look within and embrace everything you find, both the dark and the light. The life you desire is not something to be found outside of you. It is already within you, waiting for you to reconnect with your essence and live in alignment with your truth. When you do this, the universe responds with synchronicities, opportunities, and an unshakable sense of inner peace. This is your moment. If you feel like nothing in your life is working, remember, every challenge is an invitation to grow. Listen to your intuition, face your shadows, and trust the process. Jung taught us that the key to transformation does not lie in the external world. It lies in our ability to truly know ourselves. In the end, everything you need has always been within you. The answers you have been searching for have been there all along, waiting for you to uncover them. The chaos and failures in your life are not punishments. They are wake-up calls. Jung reminds us that every obstacle is an opportunity to evolve and rediscover our essence. If you feel like nothing is going right, do not despair. Ask yourself, what part of me have I been ignoring? What message is my unconscious trying to send me through this situation? The answers are not outside of you. They are within your willingness to look inward and embrace all that you find, the light and the darkness alike. True power does not come from controlling the external world, but from understanding your inner world. When you start living authentically, something powerful happens. The universe responds. What once seemed impossible begins to flow effortlessly. The right people enter your life, and opportunities appear almost as if by magic. But this is not mere coincidence. It is the natural result of aligning your mind, emotions, and actions with your deepest truth. Jung called this synchronicity, a confirmation that you are on the right path. Now, think of your life as a masterpiece. Every thought, every action, and every decision is a brushstroke creating your reality. Are you painting a life that reflects your essence, your purpose, and your truth? If not, this is the perfect moment to start anew. You have the power to transform your reality, but that change begins within you. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens." Dare to awaken. Dare to face your shadows, to embrace the parts of yourself that you have been taught to hide, and to build a life that not only inspires you, but also ignites inspiration in others. This is your moment to stop running from your truth and start walking toward it with courage. If this message resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. There are countless people searching for answers, struggling with the same chaos and the same questions that you have faced. Share this message, because together we can bring this transformative knowledge to more people. Think about the impact you could have. Imagine helping someone reconnect with their purpose, guiding them to shift their perspective, and watching them step into a more authentic and empowered life. All because you decided to share something meaningful. Now I want to hear from you. What part of this message spoke to your heart? What step are you willing to take today to start living from your true self? Your experience, your thoughts, and your journey can serve as a beacon for others. It might be the spark that ignites change, not just within you, but in those who cross your path. True transformation begins with a single action, and your words could be the encouragement someone else needs to take their first step. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future messages like this one. Every time you leave a comment, hit like, or share this content, you're not just supporting this channel, you're helping to create a community of growth and transformation. Life is full of possibilities, and change starts with you. Are you ready to take the first step? Share, comment, and become part of this movement dedicated to truth, self-discovery, and fulfillment. Together, we can inspire the world to awaken its true potential.